It is lights out and away we go. Hello, racers. Welcome to episode 25 of the Harder Soft Formula One podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Huff, and I'm joined by my co-host, RJ McCullough. What's up, RJ?
Hey, man. How's it going? It's nice to talk, obviously. Thanks to everyone for listening once again. I see you're wearing a Braves shirt. How are the Braves doing? Because the Jays, 20 minutes ago, just won, but they've been doing pretty bad lately. So how are the Braves doing?
They're doing pretty good, actually. I don't know if, we can necessarily consider, another World Series win is a possibility, but we're second in our conference. So, we're doing kind of the same as we were last year. So,
Okay, well, it's a good pattern to follow.
a couple of my family members are supposed to go to a game this Friday, but it's supposed to rain like the next 8 days here in Georgia. So we're worried it's going to get canceled. So we'll have to see.
Hopefully not. Anyways, sorry, just had a little yawn there.
No, you're good. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we don't really have too much F1 stuff to talk about this week, but we'll get into what we can, and then we have a podium, favorite F1 tracks. Since
Yes.
it's not a heavy F1 week, we're gonna do an first F1 podium. So yeah, I guess first thing we're going to discuss a couple of kind of technical things. There's new regulations for 2026. So the FIA revealed all the details of the new set of power unit regulations for 2026. So basically, that's what Porsche and Audi have been waiting for before fully committing to joining F1. And it's now official, I guess. No, it's not official. Audi is expected to take over Alfa Romeo, and Porsche is pairing up with Red Bull. So kind of what we knew already for that, but I guess it's official. I mean, there's more actual technical stuff, but like with the MGUs and the PUs and all that stuff, but we don't really get into that without sounding like idiots. So
who did you say Audi was potentially joining?
it says Audi's expected to take over Alfa Romeo.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah, so that'd be cool.
you kind of cut out. I didn't hear you say that because
Oh.
I actually read that. I read the same thing earlier. It's because
Okay.
when I saw that this article got posted, somebody replied, "Rest in peace, Alfa Romeo," and I was like, "Wonder what that means."
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of interesting.
It definitely looks like Porsche and Audi definitely, they're definitely setting the course for them to join, and it's exciting. I think there's a couple of interesting things about them removing the MGU H. Is that what they're removing? I believe. So, yeah. A lot of people are not fans of that decision. I don't know very much about engines. I wish I did, but it's. I don't know. I don't. This might be going against what everybody's been thinking about the cars being much smaller and a little bit faster. Because I know I was reading that a lot of people are complaining that this is going to make the cars like somewhat like quieter. That it's going to take away that real loud like essence or it's not going to hit that decibel level. And I don't know if they're going to go like as fast. I don't think they're going to be the fastest F1 cars we've ever had. So. We'll have to see. I was kind of excited for, sort of a return to like some older style F1 cars, but that still could be the case. If we are sacrificing speed and sound, then hopefully, we're making up for it by maybe making it a little smaller and not making such fucking fat cars.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is that they're going to be smaller. There's like, 3.5 years until this happens, so the way technologies, man, you're just guzzling that water. The way technology's progressing, like who knows, what they're going to come up with between now and then. But it would be a shame to not have. I know it kind of sounds stupid, but like the loudness of the cars is kind of like one of the main cool things. So,
yeah,
I don't know, like
sure.
Environmentally or whatever, but they used to be way louder than they are now. So I don't know, it would be kind of cool if they could somehow figure that out. I guess it's interesting to me is it seems like obviously Red Bull and Porsche are going to team up. So I would assume it'll be like Red Bull will still keep the name. It'll probably be like Red Bull Porsche or Porsche Red Bull or something like that. But based on the terminology they used in the article, it sounds like Audi is going to be like the title name. Again, there's lots of time between then and now, but if they're taking over Alfa Romeo, that kind of implies that it's gonna be like Audi racing or something like that, which would be kind of sick. Like, just trying to picture even like the liveries they would have, because like, what is it, the Audi R8 or whatever is pretty, like, they can make some pretty cool looking cars. So
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be cool to see what that livery looks like. It'll certainly be a lot different than the Alfa Romeo, like, Italian
for sure.
flavor.
I saw that somebody noted that we're gonna have like 3 or 4 German car manufacturers in F1, but yet we're not gonna have Hockenheim as a race. So it's like, what the fuck? That is
And,
an
like,
interesting
German
point.
Seb's leaving, and then if
Yep.
Mick doesn't continue, there could be no Germans, right?
I saw a Photoshop of Daniel with Kevin on Haas, and I didn't hate it. It kind of fit.
I saw one thing today. It was like, and I mean, this is such a 2022 thing to happen. It was like Mick Schumacher follows, it was like Alpine's, I don't know, someone on Alpine's like manager or someone on Alpine. He followed them on social media, and the Reddit thread had like 700 comments. It's like, oh my god, I don't, just because someone follows something. CEO, okay, yeah, like, I don't think that necessarily means that he's going there next year. Like,
No,
but everyone looks for little things like that. So
that would be wild.
it would, yeah. And then that sets off a firestorm for, I guess then it's Daniel has to go to Haas. I don't know. It would be, there's still, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but still waiting to hear what's going on with McLaren.
Yeah. Here's my question for you. And this is just, we definitely don't have like the answer. I'm sure it'll remain the same, but if Alfa Romeo, if they do pretty much get taken over by Audi with Sauber, because Alfa Romeo doesn't own that team, they're just like the sponsor pretty much of the team, because the team is Sauber, it's Alfa Romeo Sauber. But will Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas, will they stay? Will their contracts like be unaffected if Alfa Romeo is kicked out? Like, are they with Sauber? Like, I mean, it probably will stay the same.
Sorry to interrupt. I would say by 2026, Bottas probably leaning towards retirement, and remains to be seen how good Zhou Guanyu is. So I don't know, but one thing I just thought of when you said Sauber, I need to hear Toto Wolff say Sauber.
Sauber.
Sauber. There's got to be a clip out there somewhere of him saying Sauber. Yeah.
Speaking of the Wolffs, I saw that Susie Wolff, Toto Wolff's wife, actually left her position with her current team at Formula E. And there's lots of theories. The most prominent theory is that maybe Alpine are like poaching her because they need people. I don't know. That's like a very popular theory right now. But does
Toto have a stake, or like, do the Wolffs have a stake in Alpine? Because I know they have a stake in Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
yeah,
kind of, to me, it wouldn't really make sense for her to go to her husband's competitor. But hey, who knows?
It would be a little confusing, but it definitely remains to be seen where she's going to go. But I mean, she, just in the small little time that she had in Drive to Survive, she's definitely one of the smartest people in motorsport. So it's no question that she has another position lined up. So we'll definitely update when we have more information on that. But it's going to be so sick when Audi takes over. I know that is, like you said, 4 years away, but Bottas, I think his contract ends at the end of 2024. So it's totally possible that he won't even be affiliated with that team by then. So I guess that's just kind of random. But yeah, Audi is going to be most likely in F1. So I'm so hyped. Audi and Porsche.
In terms of like actual car manufacturers, like, I've always thought, since I started watching F1, like, if I was really rich, it'd be cool to have like one car of each, like, car that's on the grid, like Ferrari and Mercedes. And so, like, obviously that's not realistic, but just in terms of general car manufacturers, like, in my opinion at least, I mean, I could be wrong, Audi, I think of Audi higher than Alfa Romeo in terms of actual cars. Alfa Romeo is kind of like a fancy name, but the cars themselves, from what I've heard, aren't really that great. So
I've seen a lot of them around my town. Actually, they're not. I mean, they're like they're not like lower level cars, but they're not Audis. Definitely not.
Right. Audi. So on to porpoising, we got also some regulations that are going to start in effect in Spa. But just real quick, you know the animal porpoise, like a dolphin?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of sound do you think that thing makes?
A dolphin?
A porpoise, yeah.
A porpoise. Is there a difference?
Couldn't tell you. I just want to hear you make a dolphin sound. Come on.
I can't. It's okay.
No, it's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It sounded like a yak.
It does.
Oh, Jesus.
Or maybe it's like
get that dolphin some help.
Isn't it like a something like that?
I thought it was more like a higher pitch, like a.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Neither of us are very good. I don't know why I brought that up, but anyways, porpoising. Let's forget that last 30 seconds. Porpoising during 2022, the FIA. So as we know, there's porpoising. It's kind of hasn't seemed to be as big of an issue as of late, but anyways, as of Spa, they're enforcing changes to redefine the stiffness requirements of plank and skids around the thickness measurement holes. So basically, they're getting rid of flexi floors. And then next year, they're getting rid of basically the entire porpoising bounce, as they say in this article, bouncy F1 cars forever. They're going to raise floor edges, diffuser height, blah, blah, blah. I don't really understand that stuff. They say the FIA said that care has been taken to avoid any impact on the team's design of the mechanical components. So anyways, just a bit. Not all teams are very happy with this because, for example, like Red Bull or Ferrari, they feel like they should be rewarded for figuring this out before the other teams. But anyways, what else? And then they're also implementing changes after Zhou Guanyu's accident to the roll hoops to stop them from digging into the ground during an accident, plus more rugged testing of the hoop itself.
Good.
Rugged testing of the hoop. The more you can do that, the better, in my experience. So. Yeah, that's the porpoising. I don't really understand most of it, but it sounds like they're getting rid of it for 2023, and for the rest of the year, they're doing something to the stiffness and the planks and the skids, so the flexi floors will be no more.
Who knew that a plank of wood mattered so much in an F1 car?
I know. I remember when I first started playing the video game, and I saw like when you're upgrading your car, and it's
plank.
One of the like furthest up upgrades is a plank. And I'm like, what is this? Yeah, it's important.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so I don't really know what to add to that personally. Do you have any thoughts on these new porpoising regulations that are in effect as of Spa? So I guess I would ask, who do you think this is actually going to benefit or detract, or will it actually make any impact?
I think what most likely will happen is that it won't be that big of a change. Of course, Red Bull's going to play their political hand and be like, we should be rewarded, but it doesn't matter. You figured it out first. You are rewarded. You're fucking dominating the championship right now. That's your reward, bitch. Chill the fuck out. It might help Mercedes slightly. Like, it might help them, give them like a 0.1% of an edge. Like, I don't think it's going to matter like all that much, but it makes sense. I'm glad that, more efforts towards safety is always a good thing. So,
yeah,
I do actually have a little more insight about the regulation changes if you want me to just sort of run through that real fast.
Yeah, sure, because I didn't really understand them. So
yeah, so actually, because I was thinking about what we were saying, because we've been talking so long about them making smaller cars, and that actually seems to be the case. So a lot of people basically
for 2026 changes.
Yes, the 2026 changes. So what it looks like is that with these new changes, half of the horsepower from the car is going to be coming straight from the battery itself, which is not really anything that we've seen before in F1 cars. It could drastically reduce the overall amount of power, but what is most likely going to be the case is that they're making a lot smaller engine packages, which means smaller cars. So I think that's a good thing. The actual MGUK is apparently going to be stuffed inside the chassis. So the car is going to have less fuel, and the power to weight ratio won't be half of what it used to be. But the top speeds of the cars is probably going to suffer. So I guess what I said was true, that we're not going to have like the fastest F1 cars ever, but we are going to have smaller, more compact cars. I guess more efficient cars, but yeah, the fact that the
Kind of picturing
MGUK is
those
like
older ones with like the more triangular fronts. Yeah.
Dude, there's some really fucking weird F1 cars. Like in a future episode, we need to go through every year of F1 cars. There's some very weird
crazy ones over the years.
Yeah. Actually, remind me. I can't remember if I sent you this video, but towards the end of the episode, remind me about a video I watched regarding F1. But yeah, I think that's really interesting. That gives a little more insight. If you go to the Formula One subreddit, someone by the username of KABIRARORA1 posted on the F1 subreddit. It has a shit ton of upvotes. It's sort of a F1 themselves posted it, but it's like the engine 2026 regulation breakdown. It compares the current power unit regulations to the 2026. So it goes into like the ICE, the MGUK build, the power, the fuel mix, like so many details. We'll leave a link to that in the description of our YouTube video for this episode. So if you want to check that out, it gives a lot more information, which is always good. We want to be informed fans.
Yes, thank you, good sir.
Yes.
Okay. Well, moving on
I didn't ramble too much.
No, you're good. You're good. This next one might be me rambling a bit, but I think this was interesting. So obviously with the Piastri McLaren Ricciardo situation, it's just been pretty crazy over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
But there's an article like breaking down some other historical contract negotiations that have kind of gone similarly, and this is definitely not unprecedented, especially like the idea of buying Ricciardo out. Like I thought, oh, that's crazy. They might pay him like $20 million, but like that literal thing has happened before. So a few of them, there's 8 of them. A few of them I won't go into detail because we know them because they're recent. Like Perez and Racing Point, he was basically out of a job until he won the last race of the season, and then because Lance Stroll's dad was buying Racing Point, so there was gonna be no spot. Yeah, and then he got a seat at Red Bull.
So they bought him out.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a crazy contract. It was just like it seemed like he was out, and then he won a job at the last second. And I guess that's when they got rid of Albon.
Mm-hmm.
After they already got rid of Gasly. And then Mazepin and Haas buying him out. It's funny that just a quote. Mazepin blamed cancel culture for him getting kicked out of F1, and he's continued to claim that Haas still owes him money after canceling his contract. Like. Also, wasn't his dad paying the bills?
Yes, he was. Daddy paid for your seat, buddy. Your dad owes you money.
So there's a few more interesting ones. I'll try to go through them pretty quick. But in 2015, Sauber was kind of like on the decline. They were about to end or change to a different faction. And they had, going into the season, they had 4 drivers signed to obviously race 2 cars. So they had Marcus Ericsson, Felipe Nasser, Adrian Seudel, and Guido Vandergaard. And Vandergaard even turned up ready to race in Australia, but obviously they can only put 2 guys in, so they ended up a settlement was eventually reached, and Sauber raced with Ericsson and Nasser throughout 2015, but a PR disaster ensued. Blah blah blah. Then so this one's similar to what is happening now. Jenson Button and Williams. So in 2005, after Jenson had a breakout season in 2004. Williams had, so BAR, I guess, would that be Braun? BAR?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
Anyways, BAR had propelled Button towards the front of F1 and had an option to retain him, but Williams had other plans. BAR's management said Button would be continuing with BAR, but Williams announced it was also signing him. This triggered a lot of legal back and forth. But ultimately, Button had to stay put at BAR. But then in 2005, he signed another deal to return to Williams for 2006. But then the team announced they were splitting with BMW. So Jenson wanted to get out of that contract. And to get out of that contract, he had to pay Williams $20 million.
Holy shit.
To go race another team. So they must have paid him an insane amount of money if he was paying $20 million to get out of it.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, Kimi Raikkonen and Ferrari and Lotus. So over 3 years, Kimi was involved in 2 contract things. So So Ferrari paid Kimi $25 million to not race in F1 in 2010, despite winning a world title in 2007, so they could get Fernando Alonso.
Wow.
So then Kimi took a year off. As part of his deal to return to F1, Lotus owner agreed to pay Kimi $50,000 for every point he scored over his contract. Raikkonen scored 390 points, but he wasn't paid until the end of the year, and then had to sue them. And then, being a nice guy, since they were about to go bankrupt, he forgoed the final $6 million so they didn't have to go bankrupt.
Holy shit.
What do we got left here? A couple more. Alonso and Ferrari.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see. So Alonso. So yeah, basically Fernando Alonso, they were trying to get rid of him in 2014, but he was pissed off and complaining about it. Or sorry, what is this? Let me reread this.
By the way, BAR is actually a team called British American Racing. They were a team from 1999 to 2005, so that was actually their last year competing in Formula One. So yeah, British American Racing.
Okay, so Ferrari looked like Alonso was negotiating with McLaren, so Ferrari tried to re-sign him, and it became an issue. But the whole time that Alonso was negotiating with McLaren, Ferrari was negotiating behind his back with Vettel. So that worked out.
Wow.
Senna had one that went to court as well, and then there was this one was, I think, the most interesting. So I don't know if you've heard this one before, but so there's this guy Bertrand Gacho. After signing for Jordan in 1991, this guy had 3 top 6 point finishes. He won the Le Mans 24-hour race, and then he came to the Belgian Grand Prix, and then ended up in prison. So he had to appear on trial for a minor road rage incident that happened the previous December, and his lawyer told him it wouldn't be anything, but he actually got sentenced to 18 months in jail. So as a last-minute replacement, Team Order Eddie Jordan brought in a young Michael Schumacher to replace Gacho for the Belgian Grand Prix, and the rest is history. The guy later had his sentence reduced to 2 months, so that allowed Jordan to break his contract, and he would not return till F1 other than one more race. So anyways, I know that went a little long. Maybe I'll cut that down a little bit. But yeah, some pretty crazy things have happened, like, especially like Jensen Button had to pay $20 million to get out of his contract. So
that's fucking insane.
For McLaren to pay out Danny Ricciardo. Yeah, I guess that leads to my question that I wanted to ask you. Do you think that McLaren is going to figure this out before we go to Spa? Because it seems like if they show up for other press conferences and they haven't announced who's doing what, it's just going to be a shitstorm. I guess it would be either way, but
I mean, I would hope so, but who knows? I mean, there's one thing that team principals are good at. It's, leading people on and bullshitting. I mean, like, for all we know, Zach Brown could be like, I'm not going to speak about discussions. I'm not going to also speak about what Alpine, about Oscar's deal with them. I have nothing to do with that. He's going to give some kind of schlock. Will it be figured out before Spa, or at least, an announcement? I don't know. I think it's strange. It's a very weird situation. I mean, that is so, like, you breaking down those, all those contract disputes, like, that is just insane. I mean, I'm going to say maybe not. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, I think it's also completely in the realm of possibility that we don't know shit when Spa comes, and like Crofty and Brundle can, riff about it a little bit during quali or the race. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it could be solved by Spa?
I mean, at this point, it seems like it would have happened already, like, so that it could have died down a little bit.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, I guess like now, even if they announced it, say on like mid next week or something, it's still going to be a hot topic coming in. Like, it's still, like, either way, it kind of sucks for Danny having to walk into the media next week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get paid, obviously, but just for like his own ego and all that, it's going to be kind of tough. And then, I don't know, I guess Oscar Piastri probably won't be around, but if he were, like, he's just going to get grilled. And then, I don't know, it's just going to be a very interesting couple of first media sessions. I don't know how much we're actually going to get out of it, but yeah, That's going to be some fun to watch. I mean, either way, like I said, it'll either give them good fodder to discuss what's going to happen, or like what was announced, one way or the other. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You see this video? There was a guy, an unknown driver, on a highway in the Czech Republic. He was driving an old Ferrari F1. So it was a GP2 car mocked up in an old Ferrari F1 livery.
The fuck?
And he's just cruising through on the highway in Czech Republic. So the video, yeah, it's like he's not like didn't seem to be going crazy fast, but it looks pretty sick. I thought it was like some sort of promo for something, but it seems like it's just some guy. The police obviously, like, you obviously can't do that. So the police went looking for this guy and they haven't found him. So and like he has a helmet on and stuff, so it's like they can't really identify him.
I'm watching the video right now.
Before in 2019, the same car was spotted and they were unable to identify the guy before. So this guy, like, honestly, props to this guy. This guy's the hard of the week goes to this guy.
Yeah, dude. That is sick.
If you can pull that off and get away with it. Yeah. So obviously we'll put the video in, but that's unreal.
That's amazing. Holy shit. God damn. What a
Speaking
fucking badass.
My segue to a Kimi Raikkonen story.
Oh, yes.
So Kimi, not really too much to add to this other than to say that Kimi is racing. He's returning to the racetrack again this week. So he tested a NASCAR next-gen car for the first time last Thursday, and he is set to make his NASCAR Cup Series debut at the legendary Watkins Glen on August 21st. So that's 4 days from now.
Wow.
Is that this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is?
Where is that?
August 21st.
Where?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Watkins Glen.
Watkins. Oh, that's in New York. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. Is it? Yes, it is in New York. Wow, that's awesome. That's a interesting. Oh, okay. No, I was looking at the wrong side. I was gonna say it looks like a small track, but it's massive. It's fucking huge. It's not like a regular NASCAR oval. It's like an actual racetrack, which I am really cool with.
Maybe I'll check that out then. See,
absolutely.
I know other racing, but yeah, the thing I found, obviously it's cool that he's racing again. I'm assuming it's kind of a one-off, but so he's racing with this team called Trackhouse Racing. It's part of the Project 91 racing initiative, and basically the goal of it is to give more international drivers a chance to try NASCAR.
I like it.
So I guess what other drivers from F1 could you see eventually, or would you like to see, if not going to NASCAR, like trying out NASCAR? I mean, my first one, I would say I would like to see Seb just try it. I don't know. I wouldn't like to see him really do it full time. I'd rather see him do like IndyCar or something, or just kind of stop. But yeah, who would you like to see try some Rubbins racing? Get in there.
I mean, you got to go with like the most marketable driver in the U.S. I mean, put Daniel Ricciardo in a NASCAR.
That is true.
Whenever this F1 bullshit of his comes to an end and he ends his career, go to NASCAR. He will do amazing. He will do amazing.
Just the marketability, like, that'd be unreal. And he loves like Texas and stuff. I think also Alonso would probably be very entertaining in a NASCAR. I don't know if he I feel like he like appreciates the art of driving, and I don't know if NASCAR would be up his alley, but who knows? He likes to do other things. Like, he doesn't just drive F1. Like, he'll do other things. So
he won Le Mans when he was taking his break.
And I think he did the Indy 500 once or twice or something. I know there's a few guys that have. Yeah.
I would love to see all those older guys whenever they do retire. I mean, Seb, I don't know. I don't know if I could see Seb going to maybe like doing what Kimi's doing. NASCAR, I think, is more likely.
Just to try it out kind of thing.
But I don't think we'll see him in like IndyCar or something like that. I mean, if Marcus Ericsson can, win IndyCar, I mean, I think Sebastian Vettel could wipe the floor with IndyCar. But I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, Daniel.
You don't want it to go to Grosjean.
No. But yeah, definitely Daniel is definitely my top pick to see in a NASCAR one day.
Great call. So before we get to our podium, what was that video you mentioned earlier?
Oh, yes. There was two. We were talking about some old races. There's actually some really, really amazing footage from older races. There's one in particular. It's from 1966, the Monaco GP. And they've updated the footage, I guess, because I mean, when you shoot on film, you can like master it nowadays. If you still have the original raw film, you can literally master it to be like 4K and 60 frames per second. It looks amazing. And I don't know, I mean, it's obviously really fucking cool to see old F1 cars, you know, and to just experience that, seeing the city, but like seeing the people, the city, just everything from that time period. It's just it's a trip. It is a trip. Yeah. Just it's like it takes you back. It's amazing. We'll put the link in the description for this too. We'll have 3 links because there's another video. There's another one. This video's 11 years old. It's I believe it's 11 years old. I think it came out in 2011. Tom Cruise. I feel like you might have brought this up in an older episode, but Tom Cruise test drove a Red Bull F1 car with I believe it was Jensen Button. I believe it was him that was there. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen the video. It was I'm pretty sure it was Jensen Button. If it wasn't, it was Mark Webber. It was one of those 2 guys. But he literally, first of all, the video opens with Tom Cruise flying a fucking Red Bull helicopter, and he does a backflip. And then they get out, and like the driver's explaining to him how the F1 car works. And then he test drives it, and he does great. It's like, fucking Tom Cruise, dude. What the fuck?
Obviously I don't. He's not the best person in terms of what he does in his personal life, the Scientology and stuff. But in terms of acting, like just like the commitment to the stuff, like with Top Gun, how he actually like takes it seriously, the flying the planes and shit.
Yeah.
Got to
he has so many licenses.
Tip your cap to that. Yeah.
My God.
He's always like, it's interesting that he did his test drive with Red Bull. I'm sure he would have taken it from anyone, but he's obviously a huge Mercedes guy now. Like, he's in the paddock all the time, which again, not my favorite person, so I don't love that he's so close with Toto and Lewis, but I mean, he is like one of the most famous actors of all time. So like, I'm not going to say I wouldn't, if he was trying to support me, I wouldn't be like, no, I don't want your support. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, yeah. Those videos are in the description. But you specifically got to watch the old Monaco race. The cars from that year specifically too, they're so strange looking. They've got such big wheels on the side. It's amazing. And also, I mean, you see how completely different the city is. I mean, the tunnel at Monaco is much shorter. There's no giant hotel there. It is crazy. Like, highly recommend you go back and watch that. But go ahead.
Another video that you sent me that was really cool. Maybe put I can put like 10 seconds of it. I can try and put like 10 seconds of all the videos we talked about in here.
Yeah.
In the video. But the Lewis Hamilton one, which went through like, and the guy, I think he said in the description, it took him like 3.5 hours to edit it, which in itself is pretty impressive. I thought it would have taken like 12 hours, but it was like fraction of a second of his car through each win. And then what was the second part of it? Like just him on the podium or something through each win. Whatever it was really cool, just the way it was.
I think it was like every race start and then every win, and then it's an incredible edit. It really is.
Yeah, impressive edit, and so put a little bit. The start was like the race starts with like the chopping of the car like every second is like the next year's car and how it flowed so seamlessly. Like that was really cool. So I'll try and put that part in. But there's a couple videos for you guys to watch. But now I guess we can get to our podium.
Yes, this is our third podium. We will be we're gonna be doing this every week. It's our new segment, sort of. This is our third one, like I said. Last week we did our top 3 fast food chains, and you won by 1 vote. Again, you're on a 2-win streak with your podiums. I definitely agree that you should have won the first one. Your picks were better, but I still stand by my picks from last week. But the people agree with you by 1, so you're the victor. You're 2-0 on our podiums. So yes, go ahead and take us into this week's podium.
Yes, this week's podium, mentioned it a little bit off the top, but since we didn't have too much F1 stuff to discuss, generally we are going to try and steer clear of F1 topics for the podiums, just to mix it up a little bit. But this week we are doing favorite F1 tracks. And again, there's lenience to pick what you think is the best, what you think is your favorite, whatever you want it to be. I contemplated putting like a caveat, like you have to pick one old one current one, but we're not doing that. We're just whatever tracks you want to take. It can be one that's on there now. It can be an old one. It can be a NASCAR track if you want it to be. I don't really care, but I don't know if that's the way I'm gonna go. But since I went first last time, you have the honor. The tea is yours.
Yes.
First overall pick in the favorite F1 Tracks draft, Adrian Huff.
Gosh. I have to be strategic because there's two tracks or there's one that I think it's going to be my first pick that I know is in your top three for sure. But there's another one that I think you might pick. It's super unlikely, but I definitely want it in my top three. But number one, it's Spa. It's got to be Spa. I'm sorry. I know. It's just, it's probably, I mean, it's without a doubt the most, I don't know. I'm not trying to say too controversial of a statement, but it is my favorite track. It's a lot of people's favorite track. It's one of them. I mean, it started back in like 1920 something. I mean, it is like an old track, and we won't include this video, but there is really good footage from like 1970 Spa, and it's just fucking amazing. So yes, Spa number one. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's another track that gets all the glitz and glamour, but Spa is, I think, the clear-cut 1-1 pick for best or favorite track because, like, yeah, it's amazing to watch. It's almost always an incredible race. But there's the layout of it itself, the difficulty of it. But then, yeah, also the drivers seem to love it. It's not as much of a thing anymore, but like taking Eau Rouge flat used to be like the mark of someone that had pulled it off. Took huge balls, but yeah, just great pick. That was the number one pick, like no doubt. So
yeah, sorry.
I also have to be strategic because there's one that I obviously want to take, but I'm gonna save it for a little later because if you take it, you're an asshole. I don't know. This is actually more tougher than I thought it was gonna be.
I know,
but I'm gonna go with Monza. Monza is gonna be my first pick because it's a historic track, speedy track, usually a great race. It's got the Italy thing, history. Monza.
You bastard! That was what I was about to pick. Son of a bitch.
So I think we both would have had the same 1-2 then.
We would have, absolutely. Yeah. Damn. Okay. The next one. Gosh, this is tough. It's so hard because I was torn between Monza and Imola. It's just, oh my gosh. I'm going to go with. Oh, this is tough, dude. This is really tough because. All right. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say Imola. That's going to be my second pick. That might be a little controversial, but literally Monza and Imola are like two of my favorite tracks. I love, I want to go to Italy so bad. I love Ferrari. They're both great tracks.
And I love that they brought Imola back.
I know, but are they going to keep it? Are they going to keep it? I feel stupid. I shouldn't have picked this.
Discuss that with Spa. Like, it'd be an absolute travesty if they get rid of Spa.
I know.
It seems like that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. I'm still holding out hope that they're not going to let that happen.
I genuinely hope so. I think it would be a huge mistake for them to take that off the calendar.
Yeah. There's three tracks I'm deciding between right now. I'm not going to do that one.
I kind of regret my second choice.
There's one that I kind of like more, but I'm not going to pick it. I'll tell you about it in honorable mentions.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Silverstone. It's not necessarily the best track, maybe, but I like the whole, just the British, like the pomp and circumstance and the whole, like, I don't know, the crowd is amazing and it's just a whole crazy show the whole week. And they're obviously very passionate about it. And it's just a really good week on the calendar. So, and yeah, the historical aspect of it. So I'm going to take Silverstone.
It's a good pick. I figured you would pick that. It's, Lewis's home track. He's had a lot of success there. Damn. My second pick, I can't believe I picked Imola. I'm not gonna lie to you. You picking Monza threw me off because I'm not gonna pick one of my favorite tracks. It will be in the honorable mentions, but my third pick is Austria, the Red Bull Ring. It's got to be. It is. That is my favorite track to drive in the game by far, and it's the Red Bull Ring. So
I really thought you were going somewhere else with that pick.
yeah, you might pick my
No.
no.
No, I gotta stay true to the one track that I've been to, the only one
Yeah.
in my country. I gotta go Montreal. Um,
Love it.
would I take it if I wasn't Canadian and I hadn't been there? Probably not. But it is like definitely in my top 6 or 8. But also just it has a special place in my heart. So I'm taking Montreal, my
It's a fun
third.
track.
So you have Spa, Imola, Austria. I have Monza, Silverstone, Montreal. Um, I thought you were going with Baku for your final pick there. I know you love Baku.
I do love Baku.
Not on my
If
list.
I hadn't have picked Imola, it was a really close between Baku and Coda. It was really hard not to pick Coda, but if I'm being completely honest, I mean, it will probably be the first F1 race I ever go to. Will be Coda, most likely.
Mhm.
Knock on wood. I'll go to any race, but it'll most likely be Coda. I hate driving Coda. It is like when it
Yeah.
comes up, I always play it. It's not like my least favorite, but it's in the schedule. I love it. Like watching it. Like last year, it was amazing
It was great.
watching Lewis hunt down Max.
Unfortunately.
Mick kind of held up Lewis a little bit as the back marker, but I mean, it was just it's such a great track. But like me personally, I don't like driving it, so
Yeah.
that's why I
The
didn't
S
make the list.
curves and the final turn are really hard. But yeah, apparently,
God.
like as a fan, like I don't know how to put it necessarily, but it's almost like a stadium of sorts, where like just like has like grandstand seating, so you can see really well. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of driving it, but I would love to go to it.
Yes.
The one I kind of wanted to take because I actually think it's a really, really fun track to drive in the game, and it's an exciting race, but is Jeddah. But I know it's kind of a hated track because there's always
Yeah.
bad crashes, and it's like the cars just are too wide for it. It's too dangerous. But like the quality there is always amazing. It's a really fun fast track, so that's in my up there for me. And then Brazil, I like it more like when I think of like Lewis's race last year, like that was unbelievable, coming from the back to win. Again,
Mhm.
not my favorite to drive in the video game, but can't base
Really.
everything off that. I mean, I like it. I just find it hard. Like I can never get the last like turn where before you
Before
go
the
up the last hill.
yeah.
You have to like yeah. So I can never really get that turn proper. So I always lose time there. But yeah, it's a good track, and obviously they used to have
Absolutely.
the finale there. So Lewis won, I think, his first championship there. So
Yeah, 2007 or 2008.
2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Brazil's actually, I would say Brazil is in my top maybe 3, but definitely top 5 to drive. I love that track. It's so much fun. That last turn though is a total bitch. It is a bitch. I've spun
yeah.
out so many times there. It's like the second turn at at the Red Bull Ring. I always spin out there.
Oh yeah, that one's so tough.
Horrible.
You have to like basically go like straight upwards.
Yep.
What's the other one I was gonna say?
Jeddah's an
Doesn't matter.
interesting pick, though. It's so crazy to me that we've already raced at Jeddah. Like we're not racing at Jeddah again this year. It's already happened.
It is, yeah.
I'm low key happy that they got all of the Middle Eastern races out of the way except for Abu Dhabi because I hated last year having 3 back to back. It was horrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. My favorite one in the video game to drive is France. I know they're getting rid of that though, Paul Ricard. Um, but I'm curious. I'm hoping that Vegas will be in our list soon. Miami, the
I hope
actual
so.
track, definitely a bit of a disappointment. We didn't really want to admit it in the moment, but looking back on it and then playing it in the game, it's like undrivable. It's not good.
No.
But they'll make their changes to it as it goes because I think they have a long contract. So hopefully Vegas
Good.
will be an actual good track. But yeah, that's our podium for this week.
Yes, make sure to go to our Twitter at HarderSoftF1 if you want to vote. Vote for the poll. Sometimes, like last week, if the character limit's too long, like we had 3 fast food restaurants, so like A and B will be for me, C and D will be for RJ. Like sometimes it's split. So if there's 4, top 2 me, bottom 2 him. But this should be, 1-1. So go to our Twitter and vote. Help me out. I want to win one. But yeah, is there anything else you want to cover before we sign off? I think we got a little bit more content than we were expecting. We did not have much to talk about this week. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it was good. So yeah, I think we got one more episode before this one. It's finished basically now, and then we have next week's, and the week after that we'll actually be talking about a race. So Spa is coming up. Very exciting. Hopefully it doesn't get rained out like last year, but yeah, we'll kind of maybe preview that next week, I guess.
Yes.
A little bit, and maybe finally do our awards thing we've been talking about doing. So yeah, but everyone,
Absolutely.
Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Leave a comment in the Apple podcast page.
Leave a review.
Said that perfectly. Leave a review. There you go. But yeah, as always, thank you for listening. Adrian, any last words?
Keep Spa.
Yes.